Krishna was resting on this tree during the last moments of the avatar. And at that time, you all know that, when Krishna was relaxing under the people tree, there was one of these forest hunter who goes and shoots his arrow, and that arrow goes and hits into the toe of Lord Krishna. So I have been to that temple where even now you had the people tree under which actually Krishna was. That is the place where this incident happened, where the hunter hits the toe of Lord Krishna, and that temple is, and the tree also was there next to the temple. I will show that maybe in the next session. But it was just so mesmerizing. And the deity of Krishna with all the four hands, like conch shell and everything, it is so mesmerizing to see Krishna like that, relaxing, and the beautiful picture of Krishna. Like, when I was seeing out there, I just had goosebumps. Like, I couldn't just take my eyes off Krishna. So beautiful, so beautiful. And I have never seen such a beautiful deity of Krishna, the place he was just relaxing with his feet, and you can see all the, Shankha Chakra, Gadadhara, that kind of a form. And you can see the hunter in front of Krishna sitting over there and maybe offering his obeisances. And the tree also is still there, 5,000 years old. So our Sanatan Dharma is full of real-time itihas. This is our itihas. These are our true stories. And I feel like these stories have to reach to our devotees. And this is what gives us more faith. Because, a lot of time people try to tell that all these things happen, they just mythology, they just myth, never happened kind of thing. But those places are all there. And it is, I feel, as Krishna's devotees, we all have to spread this knowledge about all these beautiful pastimes of Krishna, where even the people tree where Krishna's last moments, so like, when he was hit by the hunter, that's still there. So our Sanatan Dharma is, our Krishna consciousness is full of beautiful, beautiful real-time pastimes of Krishna, which have to be shared with all our devotees. And I'm maybe in the next session, I will just share those pictures which I've taken. And I did a running commentary also about this temple when I heard from them. And everywhere I would go, I would just go and just make a small video, and including Rukmini Devi temple as well. So beautiful. And in my own hometown in Vizag, we have the Simhachalam temple, the very famous Simhachalam temple, where Lord Narasimha Dev personally gave his deity to Bhakta Prahalad. And Bhakta Prahalad himself used to worship the deity of Narasimha Dev, and which is called as Varaha Narasimha, because he prayed to Narasimha Dev. He wanted to worship the form of Narasimha Dev, which killed his uncle Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So Narasimha Dev himself gave this deity, and that deity is still there in this place called Simachalam. And we went to see there, this time with my family. So yeah, this is what I wanted to just share, that, our Krishna consciousness is so filled with beautiful, beautiful pastimes of Krishna and beautiful temples of Krishna. And from time to time, as we keep listening to Krishna Katha, we have to sometimes just step out and go and see those places and come back. And in that way, we relish our Krishna Katha even more. We relish this beautiful pastimes of Krishna even more. So that's my humble experience, which I felt I should just share. Hare Krishna, Indulekha ji, Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Nisha ji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So nice to hear how many places you have been. That's a mercy of the Lord. When you think about it, it just happened. Once I was just sitting and thinking, well, I'm going to Jagannath Puri. And then within months, I'm in the Jagannath Puri. When now you talk about Simhachalan, definitely Krishna will arrange for me to go. I'm so happy for you. So happy for you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Because many times when I spoke about it on Narasimha Chaturdashi, many devotees, they were not even aware that there is a temple like that, like Simhachalam. And I said, I
know that
we have to share with our devotees, because we are all devotees, we come from different places, and we have to share. I mean, even when I grew up in my hometown, I didn't know that this temple had that kind of history, because all the Narasimha Dev's pastimes happened over there. And I was supposed to know that the hometown where I came, that is the place where Bhakta Prahalad was thrown into the sea, was done, all these pastimes, they all happened over there, and I was not even aware of it till I came to Krishna consciousness. And that's when I started discovering all this thing. And I told our niece and nephew and all, they were like so amazed. They had no idea that this is the history of temple in my own hometown. So definitely I hope and wish that all of you someday go to Narasimhadev temple. This is the original temple where Bhakt Prahlad was personally worshipping this. So there can't be anything more beautiful than that. And all the Krishna temple, beautiful Krishna temples. So yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. Sorry, don't want to take much of your time, but just wanted to share. So eager. I will share some pictures as well when I'm back, maybe for the next session. Um, can I maybe just ask someone they can do Mangalacharya? Gayatri ji, Prabhu, anyone? Misha ji, anybody would like to do?
Do you want me to do it, Prabhu?
Yes, sorry, Prabhu, please go ahead.
The full one, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Just 1 second. Om Agganatimirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parigyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhuva evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Sorry, Prabhu. I'll do a quick Hare Krishna one and then we will dive into the Aarti. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it's so wonderful. I was just looking at the recording to see like where we are in terms of our Krishna Katha that's going on, and I think let me just go to KrishnaBook, and thanks to all again once again our devotees who have covered these chapters, the deliverance of Paundrika and King Kashi, and the deliverance of Vivida Gorilla, and then I think we are covering chapter number 68, the marriage of Samba. So I hope everybody can see, right? Can someone confirm? Nishaji, were you able to see?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
We can see it, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. Just want to make sure everybody is able to see. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just as we always mention before we start our Krishna Katha, how auspicious it is to listen to Krishna Katha, where Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti takataha chakradeham punarjanma naiti mami iti. So Arjuna. And Prabhupada has many conversations as he's mentioned about this, how auspicious it is to listen to Krishna Katha, where Krishna himself says that those who understand the transcendental pastimes of Krishna's divine leelas, and Krishna's divine pastimes, even if you are listening, because one of the most important thing in bhakti life is Shravanam, which is listening to this beautiful story. But just by hearing this beautiful Krishna Katha, Krishna says those devotees who are listening towards the end of their life, they will not come back into this material world, but they will go back to the spiritual world, back to Krishna Loka. So Krishna is giving us the highest benediction, more than mukti, more than anything. He's giving us that by engaging in bhakti, we can go back to Krishna Loka. And this Krishna Katha is so important because when we are daily listening to Krishna Katha, we'll be able to relish chanting even more deeply, because sometimes our chanting can become mechanical. But when we can think of the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, when we can think about the land of Bharat, where Lord Krishna did his pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna stayed for 125 years, where 25 years he was there in Vrindavan, in Mathura, and then again we've seen that for 100 years he was ruling in the land of Dwaraka. And all the cities are right now under the sea, except for this beautiful temple of Dwarkadesh, which you can see is still there. And so these pastimes will remind us about and these pastimes are so important because from time to time when we are either chanting or when we are going about in our day-to-day life, you should always think about these beautiful pastimes of Krishna. And by doing that, by listening to Krishna and the association of devotees, our love for Krishna will grow even more and more. And that will really help us in really relishing our chanting and being closer to Krishna. So this marriage of Samba, and as I understand from the devotee that we covered a couple of paragraphs, but just to do a quick recap, the Duryodhana, as we all know, from the Kauravas side, the eldest son, he has a daughter called Lakshmana, and very qualified. And this pastime was reminding me of another beautiful thing which Krishna himself has done. So now Duryodhana had a daughter of marriageable age, and as we know, in those days, Swayamvara was arranged with a young girl could choose the person of her choice, and we can find that now we have another person called Samba, who's actually a son of Jambavati, one of the daughters, one of the queens of Krishna. And we all remember a few chapters before we spoke about Samantaka Jival, and how Satyajit was, had this beautiful Samantaka jewel, and which was taken by his brother, and he went into the forest, was killed by a lion, and the lion was killed by Jambavati, and then Jambavanta, and then like Krishna had to fight against that. So we all know about this beautiful story, and then Jambavanta offered his daughter Jambavati to Krishna. So Krishna and Jambavati, they had a son called Samba, was again, and we all know through the divine pastimes of Krishna in our earlier chapters that all the children of Krishna, they were equally as good looking as Krishna. They had all the opulences of Krishna and all the beauty of Krishna. And it was so nice to know that the word Samba has come, saying that Amba is mother, and someone who's very close to his mother is referred to as Samba. And since he was very close to Jambavati, that's how he's been mentioned. And we also seen that Samba took Lakshmana away. So it's very amazing. If we recall some time back in our previous chapters, we've seen how Krishna got a letter from Rukmini Devi, who was sent through the Brahmana, and the Brahmana delivered a letter to Krishna, and Krishna came to this place of Rukmini, and in front of all the great warriors and people who came to marry Sushipal and everyone, Krishna went and took Rukmini on the chariot, and he just left with all the people chasing him. So similarly, we can see that during those days, like how the Kshatriyas, how they showed their valor. So here we find that Samba has done the same thing. He wanted to marry the Rukmini's daughter, Lakshmana, even though she was not. It's very interesting, although she was not inclined to have him. So he went and took her away by force from the Swayamvar assembly. So again, like as I said, we had to see from this Krishna Katha that all of these are leelas that are happening. They're happening for a reason. And through all these leelas, you can see that, when Krishna goes and kills Kamsa, he doesn't need to take away, he did not kill Kamsa so that he can acquire Mathura. We all know that after Krishna killed Kamsa, he gave away the palace, he gave away the kingdom to, his father, Ugrasena. So like that, even when the Krishna got the Samantaka jewel, he did not keep it for himself. So we can see through the different leelas, Krishna is totally detached from everything, but still, since he's come in the human form, he's performing all these divine leelas. So here we can see that even though Lakshmana was not keen on him, so still Sambhava took Lakshmana away from the assembly by force in front of all the Kuru dynasty. And obviously, they're all Kshatriyas. So as you can see earlier also, Shishupal and Rukmi, who's Rukmini's brother, even they were so agitated, right? They went and started chasing Krishna. So here, similarly, we see a similar situation. All this happened by force in front of the Kuru members, and Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, and they obviously in front of this when this happened, where he is taken by force. And I think we've seen earlier also the different forms of marriages that happened in those days, and one of the things was like a Rakshasa kind of form of a marriage where somebody takes away in front of everyone. So here we can see that all of them knew that Lakshmana was not at all inclined to select. Lakshmana is actually, again, Duryodhana's daughter. She was not inclined to select him, but however, she was forcibly taken away by Samba. And so they decided, all the people of Kuru decided that this boy, Samba, has to be punished. And they declared that he was most impudent and he had degraded the Kuru family tradition. Obviously, we had to understand that these are Kshatriyas, and they are, for them, it's very important, the pride and the valor and something like this happening in front of them and against the tradition, because this is a Swayamvaram which has been arranged, and they are supposed to participate and not forcibly take somebody like that. So all the elder members have decided that they have to go and arrest Samba, but not kill him. So that was the decision that was being taken, that the girl could not be married to any boy other than Samba. They also concluded that the girl cannot be married. So again, it's very important to know that in those days, why it is important to also know about Krishna Katha is, we can understand that even though the Kali Yuga is so degraded day by day, we all know from our previous generation, when we see in our grandparents and all that, the way they have followed is not the same thing that we are following right now, right? There's so many things they used to do differently. I remember when I was a small kid, we used to have cows in our backyard, and then we used to drink in copper vessels. And there were so many things which were done. I almost feel like, there's a lot of things, festivals, everything was just coming down, passing down from generation to generation. in spite of so many invasions that happened in the land of Bharat, our ancestors still followed all the traditions. But by the gaze of Prabhupada, our Jagat Guru Prabhupada, who has nicely translated the Srimad Bhagavatam and given us this Krishna book, we are once again able to relish and understand how the Vedic system in those days was followed, how strictly it was followed, you know. And according to the Vedic system, one who once being touched by a boy, a girl cannot be married to any other boy. And or anyone would agree to marry a girl who has thus been associated with another boy. So that was the Vedic culture. And if you remember, some time back, we covered the chapter where all the queens who have been imprisoned, they were actually, they prayed to Krishna, you know, like according to the Vedic system, nobody would come forward to marry. And so they requested Krishna to marry them. And of course, Krishna obliged them and got married all of them. So there were certain things in the Vedic culture that, you know, once they've been touched or once they've been in a certain situation, or the person would come forward to marry them. So the elder members, including Bhishma, but again, we had to understand that Bhishma, even though he was very, for him, he considered Krishna as the Supreme Lord, but still, when you see the divine pastimes that happened, he was always with the Kuru dynasty. So he had an obligation that he had to follow along with them. So here Bhishma also was there as part of one of the elders in the Kuru family. So even he wanted to arrest them. So all these members of the Kuru dynasty, they joined together to teach Samba a lesson. And very interestingly, for this small project of kind of teaching Samba a lesson, because he has forcibly taken Lakshmana away, this project leader was actually Karna. He's the commander-in-chief for this small battle. So we can see, like, of course, we all know that Karna is like, you know, someone who's very, very well known for his skills as a, you know, who's very good at fighting and all things. So here I'm just covering this next one. While making the plans, Kurus counseled among themselves upon his arrest. The members of the Yadu dynasty would be very angry with them. So they knew, because Samba is coming from the Yadu dynasty. And there's a very possibility that they may challenge and accept to fight, but they also thought, if they come here to fight with us, who? That the Yadus, if they come to them, what could they do? The members of the Yadu dynasty cannot equal the members of the Kuru dynasty, because the kings of the Kuru are emperors, whereas the kings of the Yadu dynasty are able to enjoy the land only because we have granted it to them. So this is the kind of a mood that the Kurus had, that it is because of them that the Yadus had the land. But we also know from the pastimes of Krishna that when Mathura was being constantly attacked by Jarasandha, Krishna himself taking his land in the sea and created Dwarka and shifted all the people of Mathura to Dwarka, right? So I'm just remembering that pastime as well. So the Kurus are thinking, like, including all the elders, that if they come here, if the Yadus from Dwarka, if they come here to challenge us because their son was arrested, then we shall accept the fight and teach them a lesson, so that automatically they'll be subdued under pressure, as the senses are subdued by mystical yoga process of pranayama. So it's very interesting, right, how they bring yoga into this, because the whole purpose of yoga is, like, when you do pranayama, all the different kind of breathing exercises, you basically, the whole idea is to control your mind, control your senses, and then practice the actual yoga, which is bhakti yoga. So here, a nice comparison has been made, that the senses can be just like the senses that can be subdued. In the mechanical process of mystic yoga, the airs within the body are controlled and the senses are subdued and checked from being engaged in anything other than meditation about Vishnu. So as you can see in this, right, a lot of people nowadays, yoga has become like kind of like one of the exercises they teach in the gym. When you go to yoga, any gym, and they offer you even yoga, thinking that it is like a fitness center or a wellness kind of a program. But actually, if you see our rishis, our ancient rishis practice this pranayama and all these things, basically to bring their mind and senses in control, and for the actual purpose of yoga, which is to meditate on Lord Krishna or Vishnu. That was the whole purpose. So it was like a warm-up exercise before you practice the actual meditation upon Lord Vishnu. That was the whole point of this. So here we can see that after consultation, after receiving permission from the elder leaders of Kuru dynasty, such as Bhishma and Dhritarashtra, 5 great warriors, Karna, Sala, Buri, Yajnaketu, and Duryodhana, the father of the girl, who were all Maharathis, who were guided by the great fighter Bhishma Dev, attempted to arrest the boy Samba. there are different grades of fighters, including Maharati, Ekarati, and Rati, classified according to their fighting ability. These Maharathis could fight alone with many thousands of men. All of them combined together to arrest Samba. Samba was also a Maharathi, but he was alone and he had to fight with 6 other Maharathis. Still, he was not deterred when he saw all the great fighters of Guru dynasty coming up behind him to arrest him. So you can see the valor of the Kshatriyas in those days, right? They were like they had so much of valor, they had so much of courage, because we all we all know that Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that the 4 divisions of the human society have been created by Krishna alone, but they are based on the nature and the quality of the work that we do. So if you're having the Kshatriya qualities of courage and valor and, taking care of the lower sections of the society, then you are a Kshatriya, not by birth, but by the quality of your work and by the nature of what you have inherited and what's your nature. Based on that, so here we can find that the great warriors headed by Karna, they were all getting ready, and they're all Maharathis. Maharathis is something which is very popular in those ways. You can see the strength was, there were certain categories of people that have been mentioned, or the likes of Bhishma and Yajnaketu. They were all like Maharathis. They could just go and fight with 1,000 of people single-handedly. So we can imagine the kind of valor in Dwapara Yuga. Many times we have a doubt, because when we see some of these stories, we keep thinking like, is this really true? But we all have to understand that these are all happening in Dwapara Yuga, totally a different yoga. And Kali Yuga means you're so fallen. The lives are short, the strengths are weak, the mind is weak. Everything is very, very shortened in Kali Yuga. But here we're talking about a different yoga called Dwapara Yuga, where the people were so powerful. They were such kind of a valor. Talk about people like Bhima, who had the strength of 1,000 elephants. So you can imagine how they were in those days, right? So here, even though all the 6 people, all these 5 great warriors, they're Maharathis, still Samba, who's actually from the Yadu dynasty, he was ready to fight all of them. And they all came back, even though they were all coming back behind him to arrest him. So can you imagine someone like the likes of Karna and Sala and Duryodhana, all of them going together and just going back of Samba, and he's even ready to fight with them. So it's very important to understand the kind of valor that existed during Dwapara Yuga. It was just amazing. So can I ask anyone if one of our devotees can just read the next paragraph? Hare Krishna, Pavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us. Anyone would like to read this paragraph?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Is it from Alone?
What's that? Yeah, this one from the Alone. Yeah, exactly. This one, right.
Hare Krishna?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Mataji. That's from Alone. The paragraph starting from Alone. Can you hear? I'm just starting from here. Can you hear me, Drishti? So maybe some audio issues, I guess. Anybody would like to read?
Yeah, I can go ahead, Prabhuji, if Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Ah, she's back. Mataji's back.
Hare Krishna, Drishti. Sorry, we just lost you a few seconds. Yeah,
I think it was network.
Yeah, no problem.
Alone, he turned towards them and took his nice bow, posing exactly as a lion stands adamant in the face of other animals. Karna, leading the party, challenged Samba. Why are you fleeing? Just stand and we shall teach you a lesson. When challenged by another Kshatriya to stand and fight, a Kshatriya cannot run away. He must fight. Therefore Samba accepted the challenge and stood alone before them. But as soon as he did so, he was overpowered by showers of arrows, shot by all the great warriors. A lion is never afraid of being chased by many wolves and jackals. Similarly, Samba, the glorious son of the Yadu dynasty, endowed with inconceivable potencies as the son of Lord Krishna, became very angry at the warriors of the Kuru dynasty for improperly using arrows against him. He fought them with great talent. First of all, he struck each of the 6 charioteers with 6 separate arrows. He used another 4 arrows to kill the charioteers' horses, 4 on each chariot. Then he used 1 arrow to kill the driver and 1 arrow for Karna as well as the other celebrated fighters. While Samba so diligently fought alone with the 6 great warriors, they all appreciated the boy's inconceivable potency. Even in the midst of the fighting, they admitted frankly that this boy Samba was wonderful. But the fighting was conducted in the Kshatriya spirit. So altogether, although it was improper, they obliged Samba to get down from his chariot, now broken to pieces. Of the 6 warriors, 4 took care to kill Samba's 4 horses. 1 struck down his chariot driver, and 1 managed to cut the string of Samba's bow so that he could no longer fight with them. In this way, with great difficulty, and after a severe fight, they deprived Samba of his chariot and were able to arrest him. Thus, the warriors of the Kuru dynasty accepted their great victory and took their daughter, Lakshmana, away from him. Thereafter, they entered the city of Hastinapur in great triumph. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. That was beautiful. So we can see, like, sometimes we get so fascinated when we see some fiction stories, some fiction movies. But as followers of Krishna consciousness, we can see that all those beautiful, we have some real-time beautiful stories here in Bhagavatam itself. There is no need for us to go anywhere to experience or to understand. And these things are all happened during the time of the dynasty was there, and when Dwapara Yoga, which was where all these beautiful pastimes of Krishna has happened. But again, nothing can happen without the will of Krishna. Like I said, these are all leelas which are unfolding. So it is not end of the story. We can see like how this story revolves, and as we keep going from paragraph to paragraph, you can see like how the story will evolve and how Balaram is going to come into the picture. But as we can see now, the valor of the chariot, even though there are Maharathis like Karna and Sala and Duryodhana standing over there and chasing Samba, he was not running away. And here we can see that Karna was challenging Samba, why are you fleeing, and just stand up and fight. And this reminds me of what Krishna tells Arjuna. You know, he tells in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, stand up and fight, armed with the knowledge of yoga, stand up and fight. And as I said, mentioned earlier, Sambas, all the children of Krishna, they had the equal opulences of Krishna. So we can imagine when Samba is not an ordinary person, he's the son of Krishna. From the wife of Jambavati. So we can imagine what kind of a valor that he had. He's not going to run away by any means. So he accepted the challenge and he was ready to fight against 6 Maharathis. And you can see from here, like, you know, and the nice comparison has been made, an analogy. What I really love about the way Prabhupada presented it in Bhagavatam is there's some beautiful analogies for us to understand, you know, so we can bring to mind the picture I is saying that Samba was just standing like a lion who's never afraid of many wolves and jackals. We see in many documentaries, right? There could be many wolves and jackals, but the lion is never afraid of them. So here we can find Samba, even though he's been confronted by 5 great Maharathis, he was not going away. He was standing ready to fight as well. And it's very interesting to see like how the fight and how they strategized the fight, you know, where Samba went and hit those 5-6 charioteers with 6 arrows and 4 arrows to kill the chariots' horses as well. And similarly, they have done the same thing. So one of the things happened in this fight between Karna's small army and the Samba is that they could see the valor of Samba, that, you know, being a son of Krishna, you can see how diligently he fought because he had all the opulences. Because Krishna says, like, you know, whatever strength that you're having in this world, it's all coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of all the strength. He is the source of all intelligence. Everything is coming from Krishna. So we can obviously understand. So that's why even they were amazed. The Kurus were amazed to see how diligently Samba was fighting, because he had the opulences. This potency was coming from Krishna. So you can imagine likes of Karna being appreciating them, because they are very, very powerful Maharathis. He's equal to even Arjuna, right? But still, you can find that they are appreciating Samba. And this reminds me that situation of Abhimanyu, right? Abhimanyu and Padma Vyuha was fighting against all the Kauravas, right? But again, that's another story for another day. But here, I'm just bringing to mind, like, how Samba is now fighting against all these opponents. And now how Samba is, strategically went and struck the charioteers and the charioteer houses. They did the same to Samba as well. They killed Samba's 4 horses and then the chariot driver, and they managed to even cut Samba's bow. So you can imagine what kind of precision they had in their fighting, that they could just strike the string of the Samba's bow. And finally, they managed to arrest Samba and they take away Lakshmana, who has been forcibly taken by Samba. But then this is not the end of the story. It's very interesting. All this happened in the city of Hastinapur, which is actually New Delhi in today's world. So it's amazing to see, isn't it? We have a city called New Delhi, which is actually the same place as Hastinapur in the times of Dwarka, and that was a place where all the whole power in the world was concentrated on. So yeah, it's so amazing to see, like, those places are still there where all these things have happened. And now that the Kauravas, they have arrested Samba and they have taken away Lakshmana back to Hastinapur, now you'll find how another personality will enter into this thing. And we all know the great sage Narada is someone who's very, very instrumental, plays a very, very important role in the entire Krishna Katha. So can I ask anyone if you can read this one?
Yeah, well, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna. The great sage Narada immediately carried the news to the Yadu dynasty that Samba had been arrested and told them the whole story. The members of the Yadu dynasty became very angry at Samba's being arrested, and improperly so by 6 warriors. Now, with the permission of the head of the Yadu dynasty, King Ugrasena, they prepared to attack the capital city of the Kuru dynasty. Although Lord Balarama knew very well that, by slight provocation, people are prepared to fight with one another in the age of Kali, he did not like the idea that the 2 great dynasties, the Kuru dynasty and the Yadu dynasty, would fight amongst themselves. Even though they were influenced by Kali Yuga, instead of fighting with them, he wisely thought, let me go there and see the situation, and let me try to see if the fight can be settled by mutual understanding. Balarama's idea was that if the Kuru dynasty could be induced to release Samba along with his wife, Lakshmana, then the fight could be avoided. He therefore immediately arranged for a nice chariot to go to the Hastinapura, accompanied by learned priests and brahmanas, as well as by some of the elder members of the Yadu dynasty. He was confident that the members of the Kuru dynasty would agree to this marriage and avoid fighting with the Yadus. As Lord Balarama proceeded towards Hastinapura in his chariot, accompanied by the Brahmanas and elders, he looked like the moon shining in the clear sky amongst the glittering stars. When Lord Balarama reached the presence of the city of Hastinapura, he did not enter, but stationed himself in a camp outside the city, in a small garden house. Then he asked Uddhava to meet with the leaders of the Kuru dynasty and inquire from them whether they wanted to fight with the Yadu dynasty or to make a settlement. Uddhava went to see the leaders of the Kuru dynasty, and he met all the important members, including Bhishma Deva, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, Duryodhana, and Bhalika. After offering them due respects, he informed them that Lord Balarama had arrived at the tent outside the city gate.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So I always get so fascinated when I read this beautiful stories unfolding, and there's so much of action, and Krishna's stories are so dynamic, and there's so much of full of life and so much of transcendental ecstasy that you get when we read this Krishna stories, right? So we can see that if you all remember, I don't know how many of you have watched this Narasimha movie, which is actually right now playing in Netflix. If you get a chance, maybe you can watch that. if you have Netflix, Narasimha Dev movie is playing now. And in that also, Narada, if you can see, Narada, it plays a very, very important role in all these incarnations where he just goes and carries the news. And he's, again, it's all for the welfare of, he plays a very important role in the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. And even in the ongoing chapters of Krishna Katha, we will be coming across Narada's pastimes with Krishna. So it's a very beautiful. So stay tuned for some of those the chapters that are going to come up in a few weeks from now about Narada and Krishna as well. But here we can see that Narada, who's all aware about all these things have happened, so he knew about what's happening by the Kuru dynasty, that they went and arrested Samba. So he carries on this news to the Yadu dynasty, that is, and tells the whole story. And obviously we can imagine the place in Dwaraka. For me, I feel very is amazed because I'm just coming from Dwaraka and I'm just reading about the members of the Yadu dynasty getting angry, because this is the place where all this, the Yadus were staying there in the place of Dwaraka. For me, I'm feeling very, very nice that, these stories I'm just reading live again. So the members, they get very angry. Obviously, we can understand because it's the son of Krishna. Obviously, the Yadu dynasty, they become very angry as being arrested. And now with the permission of King Ugrasena, they prepare to attack the capital city of Kuru dynasty. So we can imagine again on those days when a news like this goes that one of Krishna's sons has been arrested. Obviously, they're not going to take it easily. So King Ugrasena, as I was mentioning earlier, when Krishna went and killed Kamsa, after Kamsa was killed, he gave away the kingdom of Mathura and everything to Ugrasena. He never took it for himself. So we can see that how Krishna was like, he was doing everything, a perfect role as a son, as a warrior, as everything, but he was totally detached from everything. This is something which you all have to understand, that a selfless service that we can always see from Krishna's pastime, that Krishna was going and doing everything, but never anything for himself. He's called as Atma Rama, someone who's always self-satisfied with everything. He's not interested in anything from this material world, but still, when he came here, he was doing his perfect role as as someone who's protecting the Yadu dynasty and things like that. So here we can see that Ugrasena, who's still the king of the Yadu dynasty, and with his permission, they were going to attack the Kuru dynasty. And again, as Krishna and Balaram, as we know, there are all these pastimes which happened to Krishna and Balaram. They were staying together. So here, Balaram, actually, even though he does get angry in certain provocation situations, we know that during the time when Krishna went and took Rukmini also, Krishna took away Rukmini on the chariot, but again, it was Balaram and other Yadus who were fighting against Rukmini and other people, right, who are chasing them at that point of time. So it's very interesting how this, in all these pastimes, along with Krishna and Balarama also plays a very important role. And, during the time of Lord Jagannath also, we always play to Balaram because he is known to give us the spiritual strength. He is someone who can give us the spiritual strength, which is so much required as we practice our bhakti. So here, Balaram knew that, as we all know that, towards the end of Krishna's, pastimes are ending. And at that time itself, the Pandavas could see that Kali Yuga is fast approaching, right? We were very close at that point of time. So here, even Balarama knew that the kind of age of the influence of Kali is slowly coming in at that point of time, where in the slight provocation, people are ready to fight with one another. And this is something which you can see in our day-to-day life, right? We can see what all is happening in today's world. People are just fighting for provocation, and it's all based on egos. Somebody's ego, and this is my land, this is your land, and they just keep fighting. Even a small provocation, they're fighting. All the best brains, we are advancing so much technologically, but in spite of that, all the people are not coming up with ideas on how to be peaceful with each other, but they're using all their knowledge and all their, power in order to provocate and fight with each other. This is the influence of Kali. So Lord Balaram knew that this influence is happening. I mean, he did not want this Kuru dynasty and Yadu dynasty to fight with each other. And instead of that, it was such a nice gesture that Balaram wanted to go and see if it can be settled by mutual agreement, that they can just accept, they can just release Samba. All he wanted is Samba that can be released along with his wife, and that will solve the matter. And one of the important things that we can learn from this is that, sometimes there could be provocating situations, but just never go with the idea to just go and immediately, like a tit for tat, or kind of immediately come up with provocate, because there will always be provocating situations from Krishna Katha, there's so many things that we can always learn. Like here, you can see Balarama, as soon as he heard that every chance, Balarama is so powerful that he could just go and wipe out. But in spite of that, you can see that he was trying to come up with a pacifying situation first. And if that doesn't work, then we can see like later in the coming paragraph what's going to happen. But the first thing that he came on mind is, okay, let me just go and see like whether this can be settled down, if there can be. Similarly, like how Krishna, he was sent as a peacemaker, right? He went and tried to reason out with the Kurus. Why don't you give some 5 pieces of land to the Pandavas and we'll settle this matter for now, But still the Kauravas not ready to even give the size of the head of a needle also. So that is what agitates. But the first thing is, and then Krishna decided, okay, fine. If you do not want to follow your dharma, if you do not want to, if that's what you want to decide, then let there be a fight. So even though Arjuna was not ready to fight, Krishna said, no, you have to go and fight. So somebody who's following adharma, then the only way to do is you have to do your dharma by fighting these people who are on the other side of dharma. So we can see that Balarama wanted to give peace a chance. So he goes in this chariot to Hastinapur, and just to avoid fighting with these Kuru people, not that he cannot fight with them, but he just wanted to give peace a chance. And as we see from here that he has sent Uddhava as a messenger to go and meet the Kuru dynasty and just let them know about the proposal and things like that. So we can see that Yadu has met the leaders, Bhishma Dev, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, and offered their respects to him. And Lord Balram arrived at the garden city outside the city gates. So this is the kind of a process that was followed in the Vedic system. So there's so many things we can bring to our mind that this is the Vedic culture that was happened. When something like this has happened, a Swayamvara has happened, Samba has went and forcibly taken Lakshmana, and fine, now there's going to be a fight and they have arrested Samba. Now this is the way people of wisdom, they should enact. So like you can see how Balarama has approached the situation. Even the people of Yadu were very angry. Balarama wanted to give peace a chance, just go and try to settle this matter in a very amicable way. And if that doesn't work, then the next step will happen. So this is what we're going to just see in the next paragraph. Anyone would like to read the next one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I read, please?
Yes, please, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. The leaders of the Kuru dynasty, especially Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, were joyful because they knew very well that Balarama was a great well-wisher of their family. There were no bounds to their joy on hearing the news, and so they immediately welcomed Uddhava. In order to properly receive Lord Balarama, they all took in their hands auspicious paraphernalia for his reception and went to see him outside their city gates. According to their respective positions, they welcomed Lord Balarama by giving him in charity nice cows and arghya, a mixture of arati water and an assortment of items such as honey, butter, flowers, and sandalwood pulp. Because all of them knew the exalted position of Lord Balarama as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. They bow their heads before the Lord with great respect. They all exchanged words of reception by asking one another about their welfare, and when such formalities were finished, Lord Balarama, in a great voice and very patiently, submitted before them the following words for their consideration. My dear friends, this time I have come to you as a messenger with the order of the all-powerful King Ugrasena. Please, therefore, hear the order with attention and great care. Without wasting a single moment, please try to carry out the order. King Ugrasena knows very well that you warriors of the Kuru dynasty improperly fought with the pious Samba, who was alone, and that with great difficulty and unrighteous tactics you have arrested him. We have all heard this news, but we are not very much agitated because we are most intimately related to one another. I do not think we should disturb our good relationship. We should continue our friendship without any unnecessary fighting. Please, therefore, immediately release Samba and bring him along with his wife, Lakshmana, before me. Hare Krishna. Shall I continue, Prabhuji, or stop here?
Yeah, before me, I think, yeah, this is fine, Mataji. Before me.
Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, we can see that Balarama has gone over there and sent Uddhava to to give this Bruce proposal. And we can see from here, one of the many times we also feel that, right, when we have someone like a well-wishers in our mind, we always have positive thoughts about them. We always, I'm sure, like when all of us as devotees, we all have so many devotee friends, but there will be some specific devotees whom we think of in our mind that, they are our well-wishers. There's someone who's always, not that everybody can be your well-wisher, but there will be few devotees who will always care about you, who always think about you. So this year, the situation was Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. They were very happy because they always considered Balaram as the well-wisher. So obviously, when such a person like a well-wisher comes to meet you, obviously you will be very happy to receive them. So you can see that, how nicely they reciprocated by going there and giving charity to the cows. So we can see from the Vedic culture also how they receive someone whom they have a good relation with. They give a lot of charity in cows, and the kind of arti, water, honey, butter, flowers, sandalwood. And we can see that from the earlier pastimes also, sandalwood paste, and these things are like a sign of immense respect and kind of ritual that has been followed, especially when they receive somebody who's very, very close and as part of the Kshatriya culture. So here we can see that they're bowing down, they're showing all the respects to Balaram, bowing down and exchanging words of the welfare. So it was happening in a very, very nice way that they received each other. And here Balaram, he has come with a purpose to release Samba and also just to settle the matter. So, and he's coming on the behalf, because the most important thing here again, even though Lord Krishna and Balaram, they're the Supreme Lord, and Balaram is an expansion of Krishna, we all know this. But even then also they were doing their perfect roles as being part of the Yadu dynasty, but still they were being governed. The ruling person was Ugrasena. They were still being ruled by Ugrasena. Actually, Krishna and Balaram, once they killed Mathura, Kamsa, they could have taken over everything, but still they followed the Vedic culture and they just given back the ruling of the kingdom to Ugrasena. So here, Balarama, he is coming on behalf of Ugrasena, passing on the orders and giving this order, reading out the orders of Ugrasena that if they can release Samba. And also one of the point that Balarama was mentioned is that it was not fair that all the five Maharathis, they were fighting against the pious Samba alone, and using unrighteous tactics that they have arrested him. So this was the kind of a point they mentioned, that Balaram has mentioned. But still they were not agitated, because in their mind, they never considered them as like enemies or something like that, because they had a good relation with them. So that's the reason why they didn't want it to kind of agitate the situation, but come with a peace proposal so that we can just continue this friendship and not get into unnecessary fighting. So this is the way to approach, right? When any problem comes, don't get provocated in the situation. Come with the words of wisdom, come with a peace plan. And if nothing works, if you can see through even the Kurukshetra war also, Krishna given peace a chance, giving a peace proposal to Kuru dynasty. And they went and tried to arrest even Krishna also at that point of time. But of course, then Krishna showed his true form also. That's another story. But you can see, like, the first proposal is always a peace proposal to see how we can settle the matter. So we can understand from this Vedic culture that this is the first step that we have to take. There are many times in our lives also there could be provocating situation, but you should always try to come, by listening to this Krishna Katha, we should always think about, okay, how do we approach the situation? First, try to pacify, try to come up with amicable situations. And which is what Balaram is coming with the proposal from Ugrasena, that giving the orders from Ugrasena that this is Ugrasena's order that, that we want to just settle this matter, just release Samba and send him along with his wife. So we can see now again how the things will unfold. Anyone would like to read the next paragraph as well?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Should I read?
Yes, Gayatri, please.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. When Lord Balarama spoke in a commanding tone, full of heroic assertion, supremacy, and chivalry, the leaders of Kuru dynasty did not appreciate his statements. Rather, all of them became agitated, and with great anger they said, "Hello, these words are very astonishing, but quite befitting the age of Kali. Otherwise, how could Balarama speak so vituperatively? The language and tone used by Balarama are simply abusive, and due to the influence of this age, it appears that the shoes befitting the feet want to rise to the top of the head, where the helmet is worn. We are connected with the Yadu dynasty by marriage, and because of this, they have been given the chance to come live with us, dine with us, and sleep with us. Now they are taking advantage of these privileges. They had practically no position before we gave them a portion of our kingdom to rule, and now they are trying to command us. We have allowed the Yadu dynasty to use the royal insignias like the whisk, fan, conch shell, white umbrella, crown, royal throne, sitting place, and bedstead, along with everything else befitting the royal order. They should not have used such royal paraphernalia in our presence, but we did not check them due to our family relationships. Now they have the audacity to order us to do things well enough of their impudence. We cannot allow them to do any more of these things, nor shall we allow them to use these royal insignias. It would be best to take all these things away. It is improper to feed a snake with milk, since such merciful activities simply increase his venom. The Yadu dynasty is now trying to go against those who have fed them so nicely. Their flourishing condition is due to our gifts and merciful behavior, and still they are so shameless that they are trying to order us, trying to order us. How regrettable are all these activities? No one in the world enjoy anything if members of the Kuru dynasty like Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Arjuna do not allow them to. Exactly as a lamb cannot enjoy life in the presence of a lion, without our desire, it is not even possible for the demigods in heaven, headed by King Indra, to find enjoyment in life. What to speak of human beings? Actually, the members of the Kuru dynasty were very much puffed up due to their opulence, kingdom, aristocracy, family tradition, great warriors, family members, and vast, expansive empire. They did not even observe common formalities of civilized society, and in the presence of Lord Balarama, they uttered insulting words about the Yadu dynasty. Having spoken in this unmannerly way, they returned to their city of Hastinapura. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we can see like sometimes, like very interesting to see like, when both from the Kuru side as well as from Balarama side, they can see the influence of Kali Yuga. And that's the reason why Balarama did not want to get provocated in this situation, but wanted to just go with the peace settlement. But we can see that here, because of the way Balarama is mentioned about the orders of Ugrasena, that, that Ugrasena has ordered that, that Samba be released and the thing. So they did not like the tone of Balaram, the way he has mentioned that. So we can see that like sometimes is more the one is like, the content by which we speak to people, but others about the tone in which we speak also agitates sometimes the people. When Balaram spoke in such a commanding commanding tone of education, this is something which once again provocated or agitated the Kauravas, because like again, it's all the Kshatriya culture at that time. So people get they have that Kshatriya spirit where immediately they try to get very agitated and very provocated when somebody speaks in such kind of a thing. So they started thinking like, that the words that are being used in Balarama, they're so abusive under the influence of under this Kali Yuga that is happening. And basically their contention is that they got this land from us and they are using this royal paraphernalia based on our order. And then now they are trying to tell us, and because this is something which is, like many times you find that happening, right? When somebody who has given us, who tries to tell us, a kind of ego comes into play where you say like, how dare you speak to me like I'm the one who's giving you everything, and now you're trying to tell me like, trying to put me in my place kind of thing. So we can see from the time of Vedic culture, from the time of Dwapar Yuga also, like one of the most important thing, a very fragile thing is this ego, the false ego. If you can see from time immemorial, most of the time that happen is because of false ego. When you rub somebody the wrong way, when you speak somebody that agitates the mind of someone, immediately the ego kicks in. And if you can see even today also, the wars that are happening, they're all because of ego. the false ego that comes into play. And that is what actually provocates and puts into all these kind of warlike situations. So here we can see that when Balarama spoke in this commanding situation, they were not happy about it. They were saying like, but the people of Yadu, they were using all these royal signias, and because we allowed them to use, and now they're trying to tell us all these things. So they did not like the speech of Balaram. They were not happy about it, and they did not even observe common formalities of civilized society. In the presence of Balaram, they uttered insulting words about the Yadu dynasty. So we can see, like, of course, Balaram is an expansion of Krishna, and many times Krishna himself personally comes into the picture. But here in this case, it's Balaram being the brother of Krishna, who's actually been sent by the Yadus, and he comes here on this peace proposal. But here we can see that because of the commanding way in which Balaram has spoken and the way they have responded back, with the insulting words of the Yadu dynasty. So having spoken in this manner, they returned to the city of Hastinapur. So here we can see, I will just read this one. Although Lord Balaram patiently heard these insulting words and simply observed their uncivil behavior, from his appearance, it was clear that he was burning with anger and was thinking of retaliating with great vengeance. His bodily features became so much agitated that it was difficult for anyone to look at him. He laughed very loudly and said, "It is true that if a man becomes too much puffed up because of his family, opulence, beauty, and material advancement, he no longer wants a peaceful life but becomes belligerent towards all others. It is useless to give such a person a good instruction for gentle behavior and a peaceful life. On the contrary, one should search out for ways and means to punish him. Generally, due to material opulence, a man becomes exactly like an animal. To give an animal peaceful instructions is useless, and only means is argumentation and bacillum. In other words, the only means to keep an animal in order is a stick. Just see how impudent are the members of the Kuru dynasty. I wanted to make a peaceful settlement despite the anger of all the members of the Yadu dynasty, including Lord Krishna himself. They were preparing to attack the whole kingdom of Kuru dynasty. But I pacified them and took the trouble to come here to settle the affair without any fighting. Yet these rascals behave like this. It is clear that they do not want a peaceful settlement, for they are factually warmongers. With great pride, they have repeatedly insulted me, calling the Yadu dynasty ill names. So we can see how the things are unfolding, where Lord Balaram has come on a peaceful mission to convince them to just give on this peace settlement. They just release Samba and along with his wife, and there won't be any kind of a need for any further provocation. And it's a time when we're closer to Kali, so there's always going to be an influence of Kali Yuga. So from this Leela that we can see that it was the Dwapara Yuga, it was towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, so there was an influence of Kali slowly stepping in. So that is what we can understand from this particular Leela, and we can see from this that and right now we're seeing the complete Kali Yugas in full force, right? We can see everywhere. A small provocating situation, countries come to war with each other, and people are fighting. One small incident on the road, and they keep road rage is a big thing nowadays, right? A small thing happens and they just start hitting each other and things like that. So this is the kind of a Kali Yuga, influence of Kali Yuga that's saying. But here you can see that Balaram, having listened to this, where the words of the Kuru dynasty, Duryodhana and all of Dhritarashtra and all of them, he was not happy about it. He was very angry, and as you can see, he was burning with anger, but he was just laughing and proudly. But so again, this is another thing we can see from the words of Krishna, from the words of Balaram, that when you have too much of opulences and beauty and materials, a certain kind of a pride and ego kicks in. And we can see from the Bhagavad Gita that pride and all these things, they are the mentality of demoniac people. Between divine and demoniac mentality, this pride comes under the demoniac. So this is what happens. You be puffed when you have this family opulence, beauty and material advancement and all this. So if when you have that kind of a pride, that we are very powerful, we are very strong, and nobody can dictate us, when you have that kind of a false ego and a pride, then you're not ready to listen to any peaceful situation, because you believe that you're more powerful than anyone. So you don't want anyone to even come and tell a peaceful solution also. So Balaram here is realizing that it's useless to give such kind of a people good instructions. It is better to treat them like animals. To give them instructions is useless, and the only way is to teach them a lesson with a stick. And here we can see that, like as I mentioned, Balaram is coming with a peaceful settlement where the people of Yadu, they were ready to fight. They're ready to go and attack the king of Kuru dynasty. But still, Balaram has stopped them and they come here with a peaceful settlement, including Krishna was angry on them. But yet still the people have been behaving like this. So this is something which we can show the way the Kuru dynasty has been responding to Balaram. So I would like to just stop at this. I'm really sorry that I haven't realized. Normally I keep my alarm clock, but here today I didn't have it next to me, so I was just going on. So we'll stop at this, but we will continue. We'll see like how Balaram is going to now, react after the way the Kuru dynasty has spoken to him. So any reflections or anything from anyone? Anyone would like to add anything? Hare Krishna. Amoga Prabhuji, Gayatri Ji, anyone?
Prabhuji, I just want to say we missed you, although like Mugdas Prabhuji, everyone was like really, really grateful, but it's good to have you back. So it's so good to have you around. Yes.
Thank you, Nishra Ji. I was there in India, but I was just thinking about every Thursday. I would think like there must be Krishna one, and so nicely everybody has stepped in and taken turns to do the Krishna Katha. So I'm really happy that we kept it going. It's been going on for years, and we're still managing to do Krishna Katha. And my personal realization on the trip of India is like Krishna himself has personally arranged this beautiful trip so that I can go and see Dwaraka and share some beautiful pastimes from there. So I'm going to share a couple of videos which are taken out there and beautiful pictures of Krishna from Dwaraka, and the ones which are taken from Balghat, where Lord Krishna showed is the beautiful avatar of Krishna before he left. He said into eternal abode. So I'm going to share that as well. So happy. Thank you for your words, Nisha ji.
Looking forward to see your pictures. Because of you, we will be able to do the darshan as well. Like we can't physically go there, but I'm sure by looking at this, we will be able to get the blessings of Krishna.
Definitely. And one picture has always become my favorite, and I've started putting in as a wallpaper, the place where Krishna was, towards the end, where he was sitting under a people tree and he was shot in the foot by the hunter. That's become my favorite of late. And I couldn't help, immediately I put it in my wallpaper. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. You can see Krishna in that contemplative mood, very peaceful and beautiful. The deity looks so beautiful. He's just relaxing, like in the Vishnu pose, relaxing, and with all the Shankar, Chakrada, and all. So it's just.
Please do share with us.
Yeah, I'm going to share that. I want to show it in our group, and when I'm doing Krishna Katha, I'm sure you're going to relish that. Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Amoga Prabhuji, would you like to add anything on this Katha?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is very beautiful, Prabhuji. So I'm just listening Katha, how it is going, and the flow is so beautiful, Prabhuji. One point when Balaram, so with reflecting to the Kauravas, Bhishma, so everyone like Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, they came to Lord Balarama. They have insulted in such a way the family. So this is one reflection. If we just keep this one aside, and in another instance, Lord Balarama, he was going to the Romaharshana and the sages, where he was speaking Krishna Katha. At the time, because Romaharshana did not stood up from the Vyasasana, and Lord Balarama with taking a blade of grass, and then he killed Romaharshana there. And here, initially, this Duryodhana and company, they came and then bowed down to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then later on, they were insulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then went. And Lord Balarama, he is reflecting. And again, they will come back and then ask for forgiveness when Lord Balarama is going to pull all Hastinapura into Ganges. So just looking at how Balrama has acted in two different instances. So one side he has killed Harshana, and the other side Duryodhana and company he forgave later on as soon as they. Um, so just contemplating why Balrama has killed Harshana. If he has given a chance, whether Harshana would have come down and asked for forgiveness. I'm just contemplating on that, why it could have happened like that.
Yeah, different situations, isn't it? Because we've seen that in from the earlier Leelas also, when some of these opponents, when they come and ask for forgiveness, Krishna has shown forgiveness, right? We've seen from earlier also when Lord Shiva was portraying Banashra, and then Krishna finally said, "Yeah, I have forgiven you," and so in some instances it's happening that the Lord forgives, and in some instances it's so happening that he just goes and puts an end to them. But here, maybe in this case, because Duryodhana and all that, there later the Leela has to unfold where Kurukshetra has to happen. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe at that point of time, it was not killed. Maybe otherwise Balaram could have easily put an end to them during this Leela itself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, thank you so much for explaining this nice pastime of the Lord. As Amog Prabhu said, Lord Balaram didn't want to take part in the Kurukshetra war. He left the parties to fight, and he went on yatra, and yet he went and killed Romaharshana Rishi. So here there's two things. As you said, Lord Balaram had to wait for the Kurukshetra war to happen, but there he saw that the Rishi, he was a bit puffed up. He didn't really recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was puffed up sitting on the asana. Usually when Kathabachak is sitting, they don't stand up, right? But here Lord Balaram realized that he was a bit puffed up in the way that, oh, I'm sitting on the asana, right? So that's why he killed Romaharshana, and also just to promote his Sutta Goswami, his son. That's why also, because Sutta Goswami was quite young, so he transferred all the knowledge of his father to Sutta Goswami. Then Sutta Goswami could go around and tell the katha and spread the Leela of the Lord. That is also there. But yeah, sometimes it's very contradictory how Lord Balaram acts, because even when Krishna went to get Rukmini Devi, he didn't go together. Then when he learned, he went afterwards, and there he had a big fight also. Yeah. And here he doesn't want to fight, but yeah, that's a Lord Leela. We cannot say anything about it. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Thank you, Vidilakamaji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for adding on to this. That's what makes our Krishna Katha so beautifully, bringing we should contemplate and reflect and just come up with how Lord sometimes forgives and sometimes he puts an end in different Leelas, in different way he approaches them. And but of course, Lord Balaram, as you know, we have always said, assisting Krishna in his Leelas. So in some cases, he directly, how he supported Krishna during the time when Rukmini was taken away. But here in this case, he forgives, as you can see in the following paragraphs next week, we can see that how he forgives them as well. So yeah, different Leelas, Amaga Prabhuji, how the Lord reacts, Balaram reacts.
I think Gayatri Mataji was how to say something.
Yeah, Gayatri ji wanted to say. Yes, Gayatri ji, would you?
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, I had a small question, and when I was reading the paragraph, it mentioned Kali Yuga, but it was not yet Kali Yuga, right? At that time, it was still Dwapara, I thought.
It was Dwapara Yuga, but I think there are certain incidents that close to the Kali Yuga. What I mean is not Kali Yuga isn't start, but it's just towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, where you can slowly see the influences of Kali Yuga. Okay, I believe there are certain incidents which has happened where the Pandavas could see the effects of Kali Yuga starting.
Yes, probably. I was thinking the same thing, but then the prelude, the Sandhi, as we say, before the night falls, we have the Lalima that we call. So that is the time. Also now, actually, we are not fully in Kali Yuga, not fully. Prabhupada has said that we have 10,000 golden years where we can chant the Maha Mantra. After the 10,000, which 5,000 have gone, right? After the 10,000, then the effect will be worse.
The worst effect.
Yeah. And at the end of the Kali Yuga, there will be, nobody will even know if God existed. Nobody will chant. Nobody will be allowed to do any spiritual activities. And there will be like a few brahmanas here and there in caves. That also, they will not utter the word. They will mumble. They will be so scared, and people will be so like bad, you know. That's why then Kalkiji will come. Hare Krishna.
Absolutely, Mataji. You can see, like, I mean, like I was mentioning, like, you know, earlier generations which you've seen, and now if you see how much of change we are seeing in our own lifetime, actually, in terms of like pujaris and so many things which we are experiencing, it's slowly deteriorating. But yeah, actually, the full effect of Kali Yuga we can see happening later, because they see, like as Mataji was saying, there's going to be a period where everybody will be like Krishna conscious, and then slowly again after that, that's going to be a long way. But yeah, Gayatri, to your point, basically it's just the effect of the Yuga that they could just happen to see that, because in Dwapara Yuga, people are of a different caliber and things like that. It's just like they could feel the influence, just like there's an indication that Kali Yuga is fast approaching and everything. So,
okay, bro. Thank you so much.
And also, Yuga Sanjay it runs for 2000 years, Prabhuji and Mataji. Is it 2000 years?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. It happens now. The effect is there. It started slowly. Even when Parikshit Maharaj was here, it started already. But it was not in full. But anyway, Kali Purusha has to come. So that's all. Hare Krishna.
But again, when I reflect on seeing like how the land of Bharat itself, you can see the 1,000 years of so many invasions, so many things which have happened, but still we should be, you know, we are very fortunate that our ancestors, they stood in the front because of the strong Vedic culture that was still prevalent, that people are still practicing Sanatan Dharma. The fruit stood in the front and the fought. And so many countries got changed, the landscape got changed in terms of the religion that they practice. But Sanatan Dharma has been going so strong that even today that we still have the leftover of some of the temples. So many temples are destroyed. But still we are fortunate that Lord Krishna has sent his purest devotee, like Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, who's actually given us this Krishna consciousness. It started from the Western countries, now it's spreading all over the world. So each one of us can, in our own small way, can contribute to our Krishna consciousness to help Prabhupada's moment in sharing about this beautiful Krishna Kathas with everyone. Because it's all there, actually. Prabhupada is once again given us, it's a renaissance of Sanatan Dharma. Now we have all the books, people have forgotten about Bhagavad because everything was in Sanskrit, but we are so fortunate, everything now has been translated in English. Now we can read all this Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, everything. So it is for all of us that we can just bring back all this knowledge, share with each other, and contribute in our own way and spread this and be part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement in spreading this kirtan and the knowledge of the world.
Especially this Veda-based and Prabhupada book, the websites are giving all the Sanskrit to everyone in this world. It's a wonder. It's a really wonderful. We are all sharing the Sanskrit. So we are trying to get, and also in this age of Kali, it is also mentioned because age progresses and all the sinful activities goes, dharma declines. But still, when we are getting a chance, Parikshit statement, na anudvesti kalena, he mentions na anudvesti kalena sarangimeva sarabhuk. So he knows the essence of the age of Kali. So in this age of Kali, Kushilanu asu siddhyanti, Kushilani asu siddhyanti. So that means if any person does any small pious activities, immediately it will give results. Asu siddhyanti. But na itarani krutani yat. But until the sinful activities, until they carry, even the if you think about the doing pious activity, it will give the good results. And other things, na krutani, na itarani krutani, until the sinful activity is committed, until that point, they do not receive that sinful results of sinful activity. So that is, even though sometimes the mind, there are so many things going on in the mind, they do not give any bad results. But until we speak or do actually, but for the pious things, even though if we think some good things, I wanted to do some kind of donation, still it will give good results. So because of these reasons, Nanudvesti Kalina Parikshit Maharaj, he does not envy Kali Purusha. So that's why अस्ति एको कलेह दोष निदे राजन अस्ति एको महागुणः महान गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्त संगः परम रजेत. Just by glorifying Krishna, one can achieve the liberation. Even though so out of so many bad qualities of age of Kali, but only one good quality, glorifying Krishna. Asti hi eko mahan gunaha. And also because age progress by, if people are trying to do some pious activities, they will go to the heaven and then come down. By the time so many years passes, and then they would see more horrible world in this material world. So that's why we should not waste any single moment. Dharma declines gradually, so we need to be very alert. If we think that, oh, still I can go to the heaven and then come back, then we would see a horrible world. It is not conducive for the spiritual progress. So that one has to be alert at every moment. He is not wasting a single moment also.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Prabhuji. That's very well said. Like I said, the Kali Yuga, the good part about Kali Yuga, and even though they don't have such a bad influences of Kali, the good part is by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you get all the benefits which you used to get in the earlier yugas. So, like as Prabhuji was saying, just by doing the Kirtan of Krishna and doing any auspicious, and this is the beauty about that in Kali Yuga, like even thinking about that you want to do something for Krishna, even that also carries a spiritual benefit. So that is something. So we should look at the positives more than the negatives, and saying that even though the lives are short over here, but by just doing the Harinam Sankirtan, we get all the benefits. And there is a beautiful sloka in Bhagavad Gita to reiterate that point. So I think we should, as Krishna conscious members, there's a lot of people that just think like Hinduism is only worshipping idols and this like that, and they're all ritualistic and all that, but that's not true actually. If you can see, we got 360-degree worship. We have yoga, we have bhakti yoga, we have mantra meditation, we have deity worship, we have scriptures, we have everything, 360 degrees. But it's just like people are not even aware. People of even our own Sanatan Dharma or Hindu faith are not aware of that. There's so much to it. That's why Krishna consciousness is such an important platform where we can spread knowledge as well as spread this Sankirtan movement actually. In that way, at least people will be, when we speak something about sometimes about this beautiful Krishna Katha, they're not even aware, like such a beautiful things have happened. But all the places are there, the pastimes are there, the books are there. So it's just that we have to just relish this and just pass it on to everyone and let people be aware of, how precious it is in Kali Yuga to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and go into Krishna Katha.
Prabhuji, so maybe we can ask any reflections from Vijay Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Definitely, Vijay Krishna Prabhu. Anything you'd like to add? You're on mute, Prabhuji, in case you want to speak. Maybe Prabhuji is busy somewhere. Yeah, anyone else? Swarup Prabhu, Justi Ji, Pawan Prabhu, Vishal Ji, anyone else?
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhu, we have done it right. So such a beautiful class. We really enjoyed listening to the Krishna Kathas. So thank you so much. I have no more questions, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Again, look forward to seeing you on the weekend in Manna. I feel so much. I missed it so much. So I'm going to be there.
Likewise, Prabhu. I also look forward to see you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be there on Saturday. Again, sing for our Lord. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Pawan Prabhu, will you say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, it was really good, like the way you explained, and it was so detailed. I'm completely involved in it. I'm regretting why I missed the first 20 minutes. So I was a little bit late, and yeah, it was really, really nice. And one more thing regarding the reflections, like when Mataji mentioned Parikshit Maharaj. So yeah, quickly, what came in my mind is like when Parikshit Maharaj fought with Kalipurush and gave 5 places and then given even gold as a place, right? So wherever there is excess gold, you will reside at that place. And suddenly, when after the when he Parikshit Maharaj goes to Naimisharanya, and then again when he feels hungry, and then he goes to one of the saint to ask for food or something like that, and suddenly this uh, he's in the sage will be in a deep meditation, and then he did not respond, and suddenly Parikshit Maharaj, who is very kind and then who doesn't get anger so easily, so the moment he met Kali and came back, so his thought process changed, and he got angry, and and he took the dead snake and like put that on the sage snake, and then that's how he got curse from the sage son. So see how Kali influenced that big what do you say, uh, uh, it's like he's like Dharmaraj, and he Kali affected even him, so it's like we are nothing, so that's why. So in Bhagavad, it said like we can easily get away from that by doing bhakti in 9 types, so we can choose one type and do the bhakti, so we can stay away from this Kali. So just quickly, connected with that when when Parikshit Maharaj name was given. So it's like we have to do 9 types of bhakti, and then so that Kali won't reside in our mind, in our head, or anywhere near to us. So we don't do anything sinful activities if we keep on being like Krishna conscious. So yeah, that's what.
Absolutely. Well said,
Correct.
Prabhuji. And with the very
Correct,
first
Krishna.
thing, as you said, listening, this is exactly what we are doing. The 9 forms of devotion, the very first thing is Shravanam, Kirtanam. So that's what we are doing actually. We are listening. We are hearing the Krishna Katha. So thank you, Prabhu, for the beautiful
Hare
reflection.
Krishna Prabhuji. So just one comment. Here, actually, as soon as Parikshit punishes and awards Kalipurusha where to stay, it does not happen that meeting Semikarishi and then getting curse from Shringi. So he has been ruling kingdom very nicely later on. But on one day, on what particular one day, not immediately after punishing Kali. So in later on, uh, but Kalipurusha, he was waiting for when to enter into his kingdom.
Mm.
But he has avoided all these 4 sinful activities and also distributing all the gold throughout his country so that he was not giving a chance to Kalipurusha to enter. And one day, so the Parikshit Maharaj, he went to the this hunting. So at that time there was so much of the tigers and these cruel jungle animals. Their population was increasing. In order to curb down that population of these cruel animals, he went for that, and then he used to kill many things. At that time he got thirst. So there, when he was doing killing, something is happening, killing of the animals. So it appears that he has killed excessively. So but here when we are in the devotees, na atihimshera nityashaha, we should not do excessive killing in our day-to-day life. Unnecessarily, we do not kill even the ant or mosquito. Sometimes we make, as soon as we see some ants on the floor, people will come bring some hit and then just kill all the ants. That should not be done. But unless they are disturbing our devotional activities. Na atihrimshena nityashaha. But here, Parikshit Maharaj, when he was going for hunting, then he was curbing down all these excessive animals. So that is, and then he was hungry and thirsty. At that time, he came to that ashrama, and then where he did not receive welcoming words, nice words, or giving water, or giving asana. These are the small normal customs that a king will be received generally wherever he goes by any ashram. But at that time, Shemika Rishi, he was in the meditation. Okay, so that is complete deep meditation. So he could not understand who is coming, and even he could not hear anything that Parikshit Maharaj was saying. So during that time, because of that killing and got tired, and because of the hunger and thirst, because of those things, when he was leaving that ashrama, he has just put the snake around this rishi. Okay, of course, that is a Kali influence. Um, it has little touch during that time, but there is a lots of gap between when he punished Kali and then later on when he got cursed by the Shringi.
Thank you for clarifying, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining in detail. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice, actually. So it's always, that's what beauty about Sadhu Sangha, like we kind of like help each other in trying to realize so many beautiful aspects of these things, because it may not be part of the regular thing that we are doing, but it's always good. Dristiji, you have something to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I really enjoy listening to Krishna Katha today. I have a question. How is it possible that Samba had this skill of shooting one arrow? I mean, with one arrow, the six comes out.
With one arrow, how he went and...
Was it one arrow and then six arrows comes out?
No, I think he just puts an arrow to each of these 6 chariots, and then the chariot horses as well. Like we see, right, the kind of caliber that they had, we call them as Maharathis. So he was Maharathi. He had that kind of a caliber where he could just fight with 1,000 people at one time. So in this, of course, in this narration of this Leela, it shows that, like, he went and hit against each of the charioteers and the chariot horses, and as well the person who was actually driving in.
And one more point, Prabhuji. So this is archery skills. So sometimes when we take one arrow, and then some people can take 5 arrows, 7 arrows, and at the same time, and then use all 7 arrows at the same time. It is a archery skills technique.
Okay.
And Arjuna
I think Arjuna also had this skill.
Yeah, in fact, he had the skill of, Arjuna had the skill of, he could shoot from both, with the left as well as right hand. He could use the arrows. But again, I remember watching in one of the movie, if you have watched Bahubali, like one of the movie they showed, like, the same arrow with the bow, he had 6 arrows could be released, and each of the arrow goes in different directions. So it's not just the typical one which we see now, but I think in those days they were so powerful that with the same thing, with the same bow, you could have 6 arrows and targeting different people. So even they had that kind of archery skills, as Prabhu just mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's amazing to know some of these things, right? We feel like, how is it possible actually? But so like that's why I was just saying in the beginning, like in Dwapara Yoga, the kind of skills that they had, the archery skills and all that they had. Because today, how can you even think about fighting 1,000 people in one go, But those days they had that kind of a strength, that kind of a skills, and that kind of a power in the way they were able to do that. But yeah, when I seen that particular movie, I was saying maybe this is how it must have been. And he was just releasing 6 arrows, targeting in different directions. So it must have been that. Thank you, for bringing it up. It's always nice to just discuss about the beautiful leelas, isn't it? Sometimes some things seem so surreal, but in those days it was normal, actually. So I want to just thank everyone for your association. It's so happy to be back and share. And obviously, I'm going to just put some of the pictures and videos together so that we can share in our next session of my trip to Dwarka and Narasimha Devi temple as well. So I will do that. So thank you everyone for your association. And we will again continue with this chapter in next week, next Thursday. So please join us again. Thank you very much. And Amoga Prabhu,
can we all do unmute and 3 loud Haribols to Shyam Prabhuji for kindly sharing his Krishna Katha?
Hari
Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyasya
Sindhuvaya
Patitaam pavanebhyo
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namaha Ananta
Ananta
Koti
Koti
Vaishnavindo
Vaishnav
ki jai.
Jai
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shyam Prabhuji
Hare
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai.
Hari
Jai.
Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.